Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of A Pretty Little Podcast. I'm Allie Violet Vixen Commissaro, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host Jesse.
Hi guys, welcome back. Another episode. I'm so excited for the guest we have on today. So Allie, please give it away.
Tonight we have the electrifying frontman of Hed PE, known for his raw intensity, politically charged lyrics, and genre-blending vocal style. Fusing punk, rock, metal, hip-hop, and reggae, he's been a driving force behind the band's rebellious sound for nearly 3 decades. Please welcome the provocative, the fearless, the unapologetic, Jahred Gomes.
Hi, welcome. We're so
What's up,
excited to have you
guys?
on.
Hey, you guys. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
So I am so excited. And I have questions from all different times
People.
in your career because I've seen you so many times through the years with all different kinds of performance, like other artists of all different genres. So it's pretty cool that we're here and you're in front of us. So I want to get started with a little bit of backstory for anyone that's not familiar with you guys that live under a rock. But so, how did the band come together and what was the original vision behind it?
Wow. Okay. Yeah, the band came together in Southern California, in the Huntington Beach area around 94, I want to say. And we were all of us kind of in other bands and then like
hmm
left our other bands and formed Hed PE. And I think I went to like a concert on mushrooms where it was Rage, Beastie Boys, Cypress Hill, and X, which is that punk LA punk band X. I don't know if you ever heard of her. Um, but anyway, at that show, I was like, oh, I want to do all these vibes. So it kind of like started there, but we were heavily influenced by like gangster rap in the 90s and Dr. Dre and just all the kind of punk rock, that Orange County, Southern Cali's known for and all that. And bands like Helmet and,
hmm
9 Inch Nails and those bands were a huge influence. Of course, we were like right in the area. I went to see Korn play a few times before they even were signed. Seeing Korn definitely was like a huge influence on us and myself. And we probably even got signed due to Korn blowing up so huge because record labels were looking in the area there. So they probably heard about.
Similar vibes.
Yeah, right. Well, we were like selling out. Well, we got signed previous, like to the,
hmm
you know, pre-internet. So we were like selling out clubs in the old-fashioned way of like getting attention.
Hustling, handing out demos.
Yeah, handing out
Yeah.
demos, passing out flyers, just the old school way of getting the word out before the internet, right?
Being from that part of California, I can't imagine there were so many like different things going on around that time that you guys got started. Like it's madness, all the different bands that like came out of there because it's just like so I can really see why you have been so influenced by so many different styles of music to blend together because there truly really was that much going on at once. And I love that you didn't settle on just like doing one thing. You kind of just blended everything together. So I think that's really cool. I think your music is a reflection of that and like the versatility that you guys have as
Right.
artists.
Well, I'm glad you like it. And it's been like a blessing and a curse, the whole blending styles together,
hmm
because it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Um, but it's worked out for me. But like we came out of a time where like band culture was like really the thing.
Yeah.
Like Cool and like I said, Helmet, 9 Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson, all the great bands that were were coming out in the 90s or whatever,
Mhm.
because it was like like using your laptop to make music, right? Where
Mhm.
like now is the punk rock thing and it's just transformed everything, right? But anyway, don't get me started.
So
So
how do
how
you
did you
feel
guys
about
I was gonna
I
say,
was
how did
gonna
you
ask you,
guys
how do you
originally
feel about
record?
the new metal label?
Well, you
And,
know
like,
what? When
do
you
you feel that that defines you?
how did I feel about it? Of course, when we were doing it, there was no label to what we were doing because,
Mhm.
you know, we weren't reinventing the wheel because like Rage Against the Machine was already out and that was like rap and metal and you know, but I think like what happened was like that you had hair metal, right? Um
Mhm.
which like lasted like 20 years or whatever. But then all of a sudden Nirvana came in and like that whole grunge movement, you know,
It put a nail in the coffin for it.
yeah,
It did.
exactly,
It did.
exactly, and it forced a huge change in vibes, right? And so
Mhm.
then after the grunge came like new metal or whatever, and then you started seeing like different genres of music coming and going pretty quickly after that. 'Cause then after it was like what like the Black Parade and emo more type music took
Mhm.
over, and then it just keeps changing to where now though it's like from my perspective, like um trap music has kind of eclipsed kind of band culture or whatever. As I
I was gonna
watch my son, you
Mhm.
know, my son is 17, right? And he
Yeah.
gets into like bands, but he gets into like Alice in Chains and Tool and shit. Like and then listens to like Playboy Cardi and shit. So, you know what I mean? So, but that's just him. That's just one example of a kid who's like not listening to the newest metal or whatever.
Mhm. I was gonna
Now
ask
does
about the
he think you're
recording
cool?
process. Yeah, we wanna know if he thinks you're cool.
But you know what? He's not like playing like I don't catch him like playing my music. He's definitely he plays guitar, you know, and so he's like again, right now he's really into Tool, and then he's had like his Pink Floyd episode and Alice in Chains, but he's always listening to trap music too,
Mhm.
like I said, Playboy Cardi or what or he's very into Kendrick Lamar and whatever,
So is
but he
my
plays
son.
guitar.
My son for the Super Bowl, he's like, "Yeah," like
Yeah, oh, yeah, I didn't see it, but, yeah, I saw clips on YouTube. But, yeah, so, I don't think he thinks it's pretty cool that I made a career out of this stuff, you know?
Mhm.
so with your lyrics, you cover everything from politics to partying. How do you balance those themes?
Wow, you know, there's definitely in my long career, there's definitely some songs that I listen to that make me cringe, you know, where I'm like, "Whoa, why would you say that?" Or whatever. Now that I'm like, you know, a dad and all that. I hear some old stuff where I'm like, "Oh god, dude, why would you say that?"
I
Anyway,
think a lot
yeah,
of
it
I
just
think a lot
reflects
of
my
people feel like that.
lifestyle, you know? It
Yeah.
reflects it's a reflection of the shit that I'm into, you know, and, ever since the beginning, I always got a kick out of, like, dirty hip hop lyrics and stuff, you know? And I just became, like, a sucker for that and did that. But I also, like, again, have been into, like, political artists and stuff, so I don't really do political lyrics anymore. I prefer to, like, just do more personal, introspection, you know? But I definitely had a time there where I was doing only that or mostly that.
Now,
So
when
it's
you were
whatever I'm
doing that,
into.
I've been dying to ask you, when you were doing that, what was the standout like fan reaction to something that you wrote?
Like what, political stuff?
Political or partying, like with your lyrics, like your fans are insane. Like I was telling in a good way, insane. But I was telling Jesse before the show, like at Artie's, like I'm standing there. I watched a guy cry literally throw up the shocker fingers, like raging out, to totally chilling, like swaying to the reggae. Like it was so many emotions. Like you've got to have
Yeah, he
like
experienced that once.
encounters.
Well, definitely during a show, I'm trying to like tell a story and take people to
Mhm,
different to kind of like I want people to like feel my rage and also feel like my joy. You know what I mean? So
mhm,
I'm trying to like kind of have a beginning, a middle, and an end to like when you come to see us play. But like for sure, my lyrics are like painfully honest, right? Like, so if there's an old song where I felt like a girl had done me wrong, I would really write about it in the most, honest way that wasn't really sometimes that
mhm.
poetic. And same thing when it comes to partying or whatever, I'm not, I'll do like the hardcore lyrics that kind of just say things the way they are rather than like kind of dance around them. I think that some people like that though. Obviously, I've had a long career, so it's become more than just like the songs. It's kind of a lifestyle thing, I think, between myself and the people who enjoy my music.
Definitely. Now, have any of the songs taken on a new meaning after they were released?
Say it again.
Have
Has
any of
any
your
of the
songs taken
songs
on a new like
meaning?
meaning after they were released?
Oh, definitely. Because, even though, like I said, sometimes I like to say things how they are, I also
Mhm,
like to dance around. I also like to use metaphors and some wordplay or whatever
mhm,
here and there. So, and let people draw their own conclusions. Um,
Mhm.
so that'll happen a lot where somebody will be like, think I meant this, where I meant something totally different. But that's how I enjoy for people to take their own meanings from some of the lyrics. So
Now
have
I'm
they
curious.
changed for you? Like, so do you look back on some of your older songs and then, like, how have they changed for you since you released them? Like, when you look back on these releases?
well, okay, yeah, that's a good question because for sure I'm giving things different meanings as my life takes on a diff as I'm in a different place in my life, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
for sure. Um, yeah, yeah. Um, I, things are evolving with me. That's I have to like play songs during the show that I don't hate because there's tons of songs that I'm not really into. So like the same thing like I said with my honest lyrics, the show comes off like I'm really there for it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
um I'm gonna really be honest during the show. So what what I'm trying to connect the dots with is so the songs are meaning something to me, even though they're different than when I originally wrote them.
That's awesome. So, do you prefer writing alone, or do you, because I mean you like the storytelling and your lyrics are so personal. Do you prefer writing alone, or do you kind of do a collaboration and it's like a band effort?
Okay, so that's another good question. But when you say writing alone, do you mean like writing
Solo.
do you
Like,
mean writing the lyrics alone or
Mhm.
writing the song alone, music and lyrics?
I guess both
Oh,
because there's some people that, they do all the tracking themselves and then lyrics too. And then there's always like a collaborate. I have some friends in bands who do that. And then I have like my band, we all kind of write together. Like
Yeah.
we jam until
Yeah, yeah.
we think we're cooking and then or I'll bring lyrics and then we'll work around them. So do you like to work solely or do you like a more collaborative effort is what we're saying.
You know what? I like all those ways you're talking about, right? Like jamming is nice to get ideas.
Mhm.
What I really do enjoy though is when I have like a co-writer, like a guitar player who will like
Yeah,
who will write songs and give me like a
a
bunch
good
of
riff.
songs, a bunch of songs that I can just
Yeah.
go through and choose the ones I like. and write lyrics to those. I really enjoy that, right? But that's kind of hard to
Mhm.
find. But I do enjoy, like, I also enjoy getting that and then, collabing and putting music with that. Like during COVID, I did like 30 different features where I sold, verses to people all over the world. And that was also really fun too, right? So all ways are good. I think because of the internet, it's so fun to like collab with someone, like, because I have a writing partner who lives in the Netherlands, right?
Oh,
Wow,
that's
that's far.
I've written a couple
Yeah,
records
that's
with
really
him.
far.
Yeah, and so like, and you contrast that to like when we started, like if my guitar player had a song he wanted me to hear, he would have to come over
Mhm.
and play, bring over the CD or cassette to play
I
it
was
for
gonna
me.
ask you earlier, when you guys were recording in the 90s, like, how did you guys go about doing that? Were you, like, recording on cassettes and then, like,
Whoa, what a
because, like,
question, right? That's so amazing because, like, this is my studio, right? And I
that's
can do
I'm, like, looking at behind you, you can just literally record now.
I
Back
can
in the
do
day
anything I
where
want and get,
mhm,
yeah, and get, quality music out of my home studio. You could,
I
I
know you
mean,
used to just put the
so
cassette on the floor and right?
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
in the 90s, you could do demos. You couldn't do like you could, you had to go to a studio to in order
yeah,
to make something you could sell or that you wanted to play for a record company. You had to buy studio time.
yeah.
Apart from that, maybe you had a friend who had like an 8-track studio, you know, but it was definitely not like everyone had a home studio. You were having to pay money a lot.
Mhm,
It's
and
so
then you would
different.
have to
You know,
grind to
we would record on tape and there would just be
mhm,
reels and reels of tape, we had to, like, when we got signed and did the record, we had to get like a U-Haul truck to take the tapes from recording to mixing. And then now it's just like, then it went to like a hard drive, then it went to a
mhm.
thumb drive, and then now it's just in the cloud.
Do you guys still have any of your original tapes from the 90s that you recorded
Oh,
on? Like, do you have that would be such a cool souvenir, like, you should really
that would be
look
great.
through.
Yeah, but I suck at saving stuff.
Oh,
I
man.
yeah, I don't have
there's
anything.
fans out there that have
There
that.
that are
There's
foaming at the
fans that
mouth
have that
thinking,
in like one of
mhm,
those like like clear boxes that are like a display case.
I do have fans coming and showing me the oldest, like, cassettes and stuff. I myself don't have any of that shit, though.
I remember when like artists used to go to the wall record store and they would like give out like single cassettes, like and they would like kind
Oh,
of like
right.
promote themselves there.
mhm,
Well, yeah, our record company, they were like they had what they called, I don't street teams, right? That would
Mhm.
go
yeah.
to, like, concerts and just pass out cassettes, before the record came out. Now, remind me, where are you guys broadcasting from?
I'm
Philly.
broadcasting from my practice spaces lounge currently, so, in Philly, so
What
I'm
town?
a I'm in Philadelphia, and
Okay, are you and then Allie, where are you at?
I'm Bucks County. I'm Doylestown.
Oh, right on, cool.
But
That's very cool,
the
yeah.
reason I was asking you earlier about the solo writing and that whole thing is because through the years you've had several lineup changes. Has that affected your sound and style and energy?
Oh, yeah, big time. And I always get blamed because 'cause I'm the guy who's still rocking, like, so then it
mhm,
seems like I'm the guy, like, I'm the troublesome guy who keeps getting rid of musicians, but it's
mhm.
definitely not the case. Being in Hed PE is not the most glamorous thing, believe it or not,
Yeah,
not millions of dollars, so sometimes I'll get a guitar player in his early 20s. By the time he's 30, he's like, okay, I'm done. But it's been kind of cool. There's like times when like a musician will come through, like a drummer who has a certain punk rock thing, and then after he bails, I'll make new drummers like imitate it. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
in that way, it's kind of cool where musicians will come and go, and I'll hang on to some of the cooler shit they've done. But like me as being the conductor and the maestro, I'm like always making sure that the vibe kind of tries to stay in the same parameters.
I
Definitely.
get it. You're kinda or you're organized your sound, you know your sound, so when new people join, you kinda know how to guide them. And if you get somebody
Right.
good enough, they can pick up on your sound very quickly.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
I'm not just showing up and you
Mhm.
know, just a dumb singer. It's like
Yeah.
I know each instrument and what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I definitely feel that the show at Artie's, out of all the times that I've seen you, that show was just incredible.
Oh, wait, are you
You
talking
bring the
about
energy.
recently?
The show that you just played in, New
Mhm.
Jersey,
Yeah,
like,
that place is a trip, though. I mean, I prefer Dingbats over that place.
Okay.
But Artie's was fun. I mean,
I mean,
it
it
was
was
good
just
energy.
wild, like, the crowd was just so hype, and, like, Redman showed up, like,
That's crazy.
I'm getting yelled at for not taking pictures of the crowd, and I'm like, "Dude, Redman is here, like, you gotta give me a minute."
That's so cool. Yeah, that I know. I was more interested in the fact that Redman he's been showing up to our last few shows. It's so cool. He's a legend.
That's
He is a
amazing.
legend. That's
Do you
super,
think you
super
could get him
cool.
to hop up on stage with you and do something?
Dude, no, I told him because I was talking to him. I was like, I want to call you up on stage, but I have this voice in my head telling me not to. And he's like, he told me, good. Yeah, he doesn't want to just jump up like that.
That would be fun.
Yeah. Maybe if I did like a song with him, then he would come up and do that song with us.
Oh my god,
That would be really, really cool.
dude, if you guys had started pulling out how high and, like, done your own, like, vibe to it, I
Dude,
would have
right.
been
No,
all about it.
he's a fucking legend. Yeah, come on. Yeah.
We got a lot
So
of I feel I was gonna say, like, that's, like, very, like, body count vibes if he did that.
Oh no,
Like,
but the thing is,
seriously.
body count lyrics were kind of silly though. And
Yeah, they were.
Redman has are what the kids call fire bars. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I like
you
Body
body
know
count's
count. I
what?
think
kind of
it's
silly, but
I went to the How High uh show, like that tour, and it was at the Electric Factory, and it's still like down as one of my favorite shows of all time. I
oh
mean,
wow.
everyone there was just chilling, blunt in hand, just having a good time. Like
What
everyone was
year
like
was that?
relaxed.
What year
Yeah.
was what year was that tour?
Oh, oh God. I couldn't even tell you. It was
Yeah,
when the movie had just come out.
dude, yeah, that must have been like 2000 or something.
It was a while ago.
I don't
I don't
know.
like to, like, really go there because it kinda puts, like, how old I am out there,
All right, all right.
but it was wonderful. So out of your discography, what song do you feel really defines the band right now?
Well, right now it's gonna be like the newer shit. That's what I would say because this song "No
Mhm.
Way Out" that we opened the show with. you know, because our last record was like debuted #1, right, on iTunes Rock and Metal, and stayed there for like
Congratulations, by the
Yeah.
way.
yeah. By the way, in case you haven't heard, but but anyway, that's this last album is really cool, and like I always create an album so that the first song is the first song of the new set. And so No Way Out, it just turned out to be a really cool song. Um, but you know
How does
what?
it feel like having such a making music for so long and still after all these years getting a number one single? Like that's just like I feel like
That
that's a
felt so
test
good.
the time that yeah.
That felt so good. That's why I'm still it's a brag. It's like it's an official brag that I'll be bringing
It
up,
really is.
yeah, for a long time.
It's amazing. The whole room knew the lyrics to No Way Out. Like, I mean, word for word. Like everyone in there was just, it was almost like the crowd was chanting your lyrics like with you.
Well, we have love in New Jersey. Yeah, and then again,
Yeah, thank you.
this this one, this record, it did well for us. I will say that. And you know, it's like this is all I know, this rocking out stuff. It's like I have no other skills to fall back on, and I didn't think about that when I was like a youth rocking out or whatever. So I'm so lucky to still be able to just, you know, have a blue collar living playing hardcore music.
Are there any genres or instruments or elements that you'd like to explore in the future?
Yeah, here's the thing, right? So I play a lot of melodica during the set, so I need to have it on the record more. Although I do always put it on the record. But let's see, in terms of instruments, no. You know, I'm really try to keep things more stripped down these days, more just punk rock where it's just like drums, bass, guitar, vocals, bam, let's go. You know, that's my approach, you know. Even when I'm doing the record, I'm not trying to like, let's do 4 guitars on each side or whatever. It's like I'm just sick of that. But so yeah, maybe the harmonica. No, I don't know.
The bagpipe. I could see you guys jamming out with a bagpipe.
Oh no, someone already did that.
I
But
know.
maybe I know. That was always the greatest thing in corn for Jonathan to play the bagpipes. Wow. But
It's so iconic.
yeah, totally. So yeah, maybe I'm doing the melodica. Maybe I can grab the harmonica anyway. I'm not worried about that.
What was the thing that you were playing something for a while? What?
Yeah, it's a melodica.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
thought that was like
it's like a little
I thought that's
piano.
what you were calling your music. I didn't know that was the actual instrument. What was
That's
that?
the
I
actual
I kept
instrument.
taking
Yeah.
pictures of it, and like the pictures turned out so cool because like the light was like going up off of
Yeah,
it.
it's this. This
Look,
is
let
my
me go get
melodica. I learned about this instrument from it's in Jamaican music. They use it a lot.
Mhm.
It's very cool.
Yeah. So, dude, people love that instrument too. Because you know I play it at the shows. People love it.
Yeah.
Oh, he was
It's like
going through doing like
very
the Method
interesting.
Man like trot with
Yeah,
the
and it has
instrument.
like
Like,
Mhm.
dude, it was great.
because there's like reeds in there and it's buzzing. That's why it sounds like a wind instrument, you know? It can
Yeah.
sound like a clarinet or a harmonica sometimes. It's a fun instrument, yeah.
So, what was the recording
I wanna
process
let
like
oh,
for Broke? And did you have any idea it would become such a classic?
Okay, Broke was like got was recorded in New Jersey in right? Yeah, in New Jersey. So I was like living out of a hotel for a few months, and and I would like write the lyrics to the song the night before I was going to record them. So that's really different than how I do shit now. But
Yeah. Obviously, you have a whole studio at this point.
right. So I'm like, not only I'm writing and rewriting shit nowadays,
Mhm.
but for that record, I swear I was just coming up with shit the night before. But I was partying way too much, way too much. It was just a different time for me, you know. And I was like, it was called broke because we were broke. We had to wait 5 years between first and second record. Like, what the fuck,
Mhm.
you know? It was gnarly. Um, and yeah, so but at least everyone in the band was getting along, you know.
I was gonna ask, I'm playing a show 2 hours away on Friday. Do you have any advice for, you know, just like traveling bands or as somebody who's played
Oh,
so many
advice
shows?
for traveling bands. Oh, wow, where do I start? It depends where you're at. Like, what do you mean by
Hmm.
traveling? Like, how many
Just
weeks?
somebody doing a tour, and you know, an
Yeah,
early
I
tour.
mean, so what are you guys traveling in?
As of right now,
A van
Their
or
cars.
a
They
a
don't have a cool
SUV,
bus.
an SUV right now.
with a trailer?
No, no,
What kind of a
we're
band? Well, is it a band with like drummer and a bass and guitar?
yeah, yeah. I'm in a grindcore band.
Okay, cool. But where you guys have like amps and stuff?
Yeah,
Where are the
yeah.
drums
So
going? Where are the drums going?
in a separate car.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's hardcore. That's fucking
Hmm.
hardcore. So
They're
that means
DIYing it up.
you guys are like getting
Everything.
hotels every night?
I believe, or staying at people's houses.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing
Yeah,
about touring. People don't realize how fucking gnarly it is to tour in terms of how expensive it is.
it
You know,
is. You gotta find houses to stay at and all kinds of
right.
stuff.
Like
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
you
able to
gotta
do
have
it.
friends everywhere.
Oh, you have friends? Yeah, you're lucky. If I didn't have like the motor home
Hmm.
for so that everyone could sleep on it, I couldn't
Hmm.
do it because hotels just add up so much, you know?
Yeah.
Actually,
But
I'm
anyway,
so
yeah,
glad you brought
go
that
on.
up because can we hear what happened with the tour bus? I know it was a little bit ago, but when
Something's
you
always
lost your
happening with the
driver.
tour. Something's something's always happening with the tour bus because I'm like putting 60,000 miles a year on the thing, you know. So it's like it's just par for the course. Like on this last tour, I had to replace the clutch fan. I'm no mechanic either, but obviously know what I'm spending money on. Dude, I had to even though I own the freaking bus, but then thousands of dollars to keep her running, you know. Anyway, it worked out.
Yeah, at one point you needed a driver. I was
Yeah,
like sending out to everyone. I'm like, listen, you all said that this would be your dream job. Like they need one.
I know, but that's how from like when I post shit on social media, I'll have like 30 drivers who want the job. And so then I found someone who's been the who's been my driver all year. So
We lost
I'm
Jessie.
so
She must have.
surprised. Dude, post on social media and I'll just get so many people who are down.
Mhm, that's crazy. I'm
That's what
sure
it's
it's
there
gonna
for,
be
right?
wild, like and I mean, like, I'm sure it's insane also getting I mean, you guys tour heavy. Like, I mean, you guys are going different time zones, you guys are I mean, high impact shows, the fans are like, it's probably a lot. Like, even getting your equipment in and out, like those fans, like they like want to be right next to you the second you're off stage. Like I was watching everyone, like the whole crowd just like moved with you.
We have really cool fans, right? And look, I mean, we tour a lot because we don't make enough, so I have to keep touring, right? It's not because any it's not because I really want to be on the road that much, you know. Um, it's like I left my when my daughter was only playing with dolls. When I got home, she moved on to Barbies. So you know, when I left, my son was playing what was he playing? Well, when I got home, he was playing Tool. So a lot had changed. But dude, like this year, I went like I did a West Coast tour, came home for 4 days, went to Australia, New Zealand, came home for 3 days, and then did another 5.5 week tour. And so now I'm home for a few months. So
That's got to be wild though.
it is
As far as
gnarly.
like as far as the shows that you did, let's say over the last year, what were some of the cool acts that performed with you or cool places, crowd?
Well, Australia, New Zealand was the highlight because we're like really like bigger. So like all of our shows were bigger and like sold out. So that was of course amazing. Um, but don't get it twisted. Just playing in the States at a club that's not full at all is still just beautiful. There's a lot harder ways for a guy to earn a buck, you know?
Definitely. So, one of the questions that I've wanted to ask you for a while, as far as do you feel that there's any songs or albums that were kind of underrated and didn't get the attention that they deserved because of life events or anything, like even because of like news that came out that might have shifted something?
Well, here's the thing, like, that's kinda out of my hands a lot because it's like record companies and what they're gonna do with the album once you deliver it. It's like, I have to kinda let go of my expectations sometimes, which is a bad can be a bad thing, but, like, I can't control, like I can't control everything, right? So, like and as far as if an album should do better, that's not for me to say really, you know? So I just can like do my best and put my heart into my work and deliver it. Although lately I'm trying to keep more of an eye on what's going on, but there's so many things that can go wrong between me creating a record and it getting into the ears of the masses.
Definitely. So, how has your recording style changed from when you first started to now?
Well, for sure, like I'm able to just record like a album quality vocals in my home studio, which I couldn't do at the beginning.
Okay.
That's the biggest change right there. I
Like,
always used to record demos at home, but then when it
mhm,
came time to like doing records, I always had to like go into a studio, which I hate. And so that's the biggest change is being able to like do my own vocals.
come on, that dude, that's crazy. Like, I mean, you've been through so many different stages of all of the different genres. I mean, like, it's crazy. Like, that's why I was asking earlier, like, when people call you new metal, like, you're so much more than new metal. Like,
Well, you know what? Yeah, I don't get too caught up in labels or whatever. It's
mhm,
good. Sometimes it's good for people so they can categorize things in their head. But music is music and it's art, and it doesn't
So
have to be labeled.
you have 16 music videos, correct?
I have no
14 or
idea. I
16?
have no
You have
idea.
you have quite a few. I know it's either 14 or 16. What was your favorite video to shoot?
Probably the bartender video, because we like went to seedy spots in Tijuana and stuff, and it was pretty gnarly. The whole shoot was like 3 days, and we were like there with some like cartel guys, and it was pretty gnarly. Yeah.
Any Easter eggs that fans can like look for in there?
Oh wow, there are, but they're ones that I don't want to talk about.
I love I absolutely love it.
Pretty gnarly
So,
ones. Yeah.
what would you say has been overall like the most rewarding and memorable show that you've played?
Wow, what a trip. Because I got to tell you, this last tour in Australia and New Zealand, that was some of the most rewarding stuff because, we've played like, festivals and open up for bands, and it been really hype, but it's always a different thing when you're headlining.
Yeah.
So, like, for me to headline in front of 5 or 600 people, nowadays, that's pretty fucking huge. Like, in 2003, of course, we would have done that all the time, right? And
Mhm.
bigger crowds. But in 2025, to do it 5 or 600 people to headline in front of is really nice for me. And it really makes me feel like I've done a few things right in my life.
Hey, to stay relevant almost 3 decades in the music scene, that's that's a pretty big accomplishment.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your kind words. You know what? It's a trip, like, I don't think you can, like, plan it out because of the way the music business is. It's like, if you plan stuff out, sometimes it doesn't work out.
Is it harder now to create music, or was it harder in the beginning? Because now you have the fans, and, like, I'm sure that adds a little bit to your anxiety when you're, like, writing.
What a great question. Yeah. You know what? In some ways, it's harder. In some ways, it's easier. But, like, because of the things you just said, that makes it more difficult because I'm
How did
trying
the
to, like,
fans react to to you guys switching to the reggae more
oh,
chill
well,
sound?
I can only do it so much because they want what they want, and they want like that Hed PE kind of punky metals type of shit. So they don't mind a little bit of the reggae vibe, but you gotta balance it out.
Yeah. So, what is the craziest thing that's happened to you on tour?
Can't talk about it.
Okay, since you're going to some really cool places, and I'm like one of those people when I go somewhere, like I have to get something to kind of represent where I went. Do you have anything that you kind of collect while you're on your different tours, like
Got
to kind
this-
of
I got this hoodie from New Zealand. It's the all black rug is one. Yeah, you know what? The thrill is gone. It's like I've been to all these places around the planet so many times that I don't really like bring shit back anymore like I did when I first got signed and was able to tour overseas. Probably then I would have brought shit back. But the thrill is gone.
is there any countries or cities or anywhere that you would like to go?
I'm looking forward to getting back to Australia. You know, I would love to go to Brazil, which is where my parents are from. I've never played in Brazil. We've never played in South America. I'd love to play in Hawaii. We've never played in
Oh, you
Hawaii.
have to.
We've never played in Alaska. So, you know, let's start with those right there.
Oh, Brazil would be so cool.
Yeah. It might
Oh, that
become
would be awesome.
we might have a South American tour ready to go. I got a call from my agent today. So let's see what happens.
Yay. Give the fans something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Now we know in the US we have to share our bands. So like every time a band goes overseas, I'm like they love Germany and they love like certain spots because they really like cater to the artists. And I
Yeah.
always worry, I'm like, are they gonna come back? Because like we love
Yeah.
you. Like we want you to come back to the state.
Well, yeah, for me it's like because there's so many because the US is so freaking huge.
Mhm.
It's like it's where I'm gonna make most of my money because there's so many spots for me to get paid at. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like it's nice to go to Europe and it's nice to go to England and all and you know Australia, New Zealand, but you can only make money there for, you know, a fraction of the time that you can in the States.
So who are some of the people that you like to tour with? Like as far as other bands?
I'm sad that I never got to tour with Seven Dust because I hear they're retiring. I don't know why, but you
Mhm.
know, uh, if I was bigger than Seven Dust, I would ask them to go on tour with me. But since they're bigger than us, it never happened. So that's one band that I wish we could have toured with, but I really don't think about it that much, to be honest.
We have some friends that know some people on Seven Dust. Maybe we can get them like if
Yeah,
you're
it's just
like saying that, maybe like you never know. Hey, I've learned through the years, like if you don't ask and you don't put it out there, like it's never gonna
well,
happen anyway.
you know, one
So
would hope that my agent is like, you know, offering us for other
Seven
tours.
Dust, let me work on that.
It's a weird it is a weird business though, you know, like tons of bands that are on my level would love to go on tour with Seven Dust. So it's political and you know, it's just weird how things have to line up.
I really liked the show also that you did with Sumo Psycho. I
Oh,
think I
I
saw
love
you with
that.
H-Mac. Like, the energy of that show was, like, really, really
Oh yeah,
just
I mean,
incredible.
don't get me wrong, like I love one of my favorite bands to tour with is Nonpoint. So I'm lucky enough to like go on tour with them. But I'm also a fan of Sumo Cycos, though.
The energy just in the whole place, like, I mean, it was just from the time you guys hit the stage to the time Nonpoint, like, left the stage, it was just the whole crowd was just interactive. It was like a whole different experience, and that's what I love. Like, each show is completely different. Do you
Yeah,
go
dude,
into tour like that? Like, you wanna do each tour,
it was a
like
great tour.
do you go into it like that, where each tour you're trying to do a completely different thing? Or at this point, do you kinda know what your fans like and you kinda give them what they want?
Both.
Okay.
You know, I know what the fans like, so we're trying to give them what they want. But the show is different every night because the band kind of improvs a lot of shit. But I'm also trying to play the songs people want to hear the most, but you can't please everybody. But it feels new every time I'm doing it.
Okay, since my favorite song is Renegade,
So that
can I
song's gonna get
just
played every night because That's a lot of
Can,
people's favorite song.
can I know the story behind Renegade?
Yeah. Well, Renegade. It's just one of those. Hed PE has just a lot of songs about getting knocked down and getting back up, a lot of songs about adversity and triumph and, the human condition, basically, of the hero, coming up against an enemy and trying to win the fight. That's just another Renegade's another one of those tracks, getting knocked down and getting back up.
Now that song literally, like all my friends have this have Spotify playlists, and we all joke about like what song lands on what playlist. That song literally falls in a lot of different categories on the different playlists. Like it can be good for the gym, it can be good for at home, it can be good if you're just in a mood, like if you're going through something with your partner, like whatever, it's that song. Do you
That's
ever
good.
look at what playlists that song lands on Spotify? Do you ever go through and like look at the different names of the playlist?
No, do that. I don't do that shit. That's too much research for me. That's too much data for me. It would make my brain explode. But it's very
I
interesting
would
though
love
for
to
you
see
to
you do a live where you're just going down reading the different names of the playlist.
that would be interesting. Yeah.
Do a TikTok. Throw it up on TikTok.
Yeah, I'll have to ask my son to help me with that.
So before I let you go, what's next for Head PE? What are you guys working on? What's
I'm working on the new record right now. And then we've got some tours that we're not ready to announce though.
so what can you tell us anything about what fans can kind of anticipate with the upcoming
Well,
music?
fans can keep an you got well, the new record won't be out till next year. Yeah, um, for sure, yeah. But, uh, you know what? I can't speak too much on the timing of things because 'cause I'm not sure, and you can't announce things until they're ready. But keep
That's
an eye on
perfectly fine. It gives us an
Face
excuse to have you back on.
there you go. But keep an eye on the Instagram and the Facebook and the official headpe.com, and
All
that
going
that
on the
that'll
bottom.
give you all up-to-date stuff.
Yeah, everything's going on the bottom. Make sure you go on, follow Head PE on every single site. They're everywhere. They're streaming everywhere. Listen to their music, share their music. It's all about sharing. Make sure you leave comments. They love you to flood everything with comments,
Yeah, sharing is
even if it's
caring.
emojis.
Yeah, Allie, but thank you for having me on. I really appreciate your time, and good luck. Good luck with everything.
Oh, you too. And thank you so much for taking the time to come on. I will see you at your next show that you do around here.
All right, girl, you have a good night.
You too. Bye. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We lost Jesse, but we will see you next week. Thank you. Make sure that you subscribe to A Pretty Little Podcast.